Okay, Abhishek, I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah,
Okay, so welcome all. This is our eighth virtual meetup in Hong Kong, and today we are going to cover MUnit in Mule 4. Okay, so hi, I am Ravi, and currently I am working with Vermigo Limited in Hong Kong location, and I have total 6 years of experience in MuleSoft and other integration technology. So I am certified MuleSoft developer. And as a speaker, we have Abhishek, and he's working as a senior software engineer in Epicero. And like after my presentation, he will give you a brief introduction about himself. So he will cover this MUnit part, and if you will have any question answer, you are feel free to ask any question. Okay. So after this meetup, we will have question answer session, and then we will have one trivia quiz also. Okay, so three lucky winner will get training voucher. So now only you will get training voucher. Previously we used to get training and certification voucher, but now you will get only training voucher. Okay. So at the end of this meeting, we will arrange this trivia quiz using Kahoot. So yeah, that's it all about from my side. So Abhishek, I am stopping my screen, and you can share and you can start from your part.
sure. Yeah, so I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, we can. Okay, so let me start recording also.
Yeah,
Okay, you already started?
yeah, it was already started.
Oh, someone started. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
So
good to
first of
go.
all, I thank you everyone for joining, investing some of your Sunday time and joining the meetups. So thank you everyone. So this is Abhishek. Like I'm working as a senior solution consultant in Epiciro, and I have an overall of experience of 6 years, out of which 3+ years in MuleSoft. So today we are going to demonstrate about MUnit. So first of all, like I will request everyone's that please have active and healthy discussion. It's not like if I'm speaking then I should only speak. Please share your views, because what I'm going to demonstrate is something I'm going to do with respect to my knowledge. But if you have something, or if you feel like I'm missing something or I'm going wrong with something, then please interrupt in between, and please have a discussion. So once we get out of the meetup, we would take some more knowledge along with us. So the main aim of the meetups are this. So please feel free to interrupt and feel free to share your knowledge as well. So I'm just sharing my PPT again. Okay. So yeah, so our agenda for today is like we are going to introduce about what is MUnit, different approaches of writing MUnit, limitations, then what are the different tools we can use while writing the MUnit, how to execute the suits, why coverage is important, and then some live demonstration on MUnit. So first of all, what is MUnit? So anyone want to speak and say, I can give any idea on what is MUnit and why we need to write MUnit? Anyone from the attendee, anyone want to speak something on that? Hello.
We can hear you. I think everyone today
Yeah.
are ready to
Please,
listen from your word only. Like,
yeah, please feel free. It's a Sunday and we are investing on Sunday, so like make it more fruitful now.
yes, yes, yes.
So
Okay.
anyone want to give any
Later
idea?
on, we will have more question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, so no one's speaking. So, okay, let me move forward. So basically, MUnit is a unit testing tool specially used for anypoint platform, where we write MUnits to test our flows, to test our use cases, components, to check like everything what we have written or what we have created is working fine or not. So the main aim of MUnit is just to test our flows and all the tools. Okay, so how to create MUnit? So we have two approach of creating MUnit. One is like using the test recorder, and another one is manually creating an MUnit. So the test recorder has been introduced to Anypoint platform, like to MuleSoft, is after Anypoint Studio 7.5. So 7.5 and later has got this test recording features. Before that we don't have this one. So test recording has made it little easier and made the life little simple for writing a MUnit if you are writing it for a simple or a normal MUnit. So like we don't have to invest much time on this. And if you are a beginner and if you want to learn MUnit, then this is the best way to learn MUnit by using the test recorder. But as we know, like we get some feature, we also get some limitations. So we also have some limitations with MUnit. So like we cannot write MUnit if you have any error handling. Now suppose if you are writing an MUnit for a flow, and in between for any reason if you get any error, then our recorder stops and it doesn't capture the MUnit for that one. So the flow should be completely like executed from first to end, and there should not be any error in between, otherwise it will not work. Then the validation should be proper, the mocking should be proper. Then it doesn't support, like recorder doesn't support mocking of messages before or inside of for each processor. That means like if we have multiple inputs for a for each, then it's not able to record that one. Then some of the basic tools, these are some of the common tools which we are using when we are writing MUnit, like test. This is the suite which we create. Then mocking, when like if we want to mock any connectors, so basically the outbound connectors like DB connector or HTTP or SFTP, whatever connector it is, then we are using this one. We have got set event, we have got different assertion types, and we have got verify calls. So these are some of the common tools and components which we are using while creating an MUnit. And you can see a list of the tools and components which are present for creating an MUnit. And further, when we'll go in the demo, like I will demonstrate that as well. Next, coming for execution, like executing a minute, like we have two approaches again for this one. One is like directly from the studio where we can either run or debug our minute, or the second one is from command prompt where we can set our Maven home and we can use the Maven clean test command. uh, I would prefer like use whenever we write a minute and we want to test that one, we should do it from command prompt, because that is a replica of what we are having in our CI/CD. Like Unit is basically executes when we do CI/CD, we do the pipelines, and it was first verify the Unit like all the flows are working fine or not. Then it deploy the code uh, on the server or on cloud. So having it with command prompt make it more easier and more transparent, like how it's going to behave when you are going to do the CI/CD. So I will demonstrate you the difference between executing it through Studio and executing it through command prompt. Next, the coverage, like why we need the coverage. So like the coverage features provide a measure like how much our flow is effective, how much coverage we are getting, so we can know like, okay, which part is not working and which is working, and which part we are getting the error, or which part has been completed fully. So this is why we like have a minute coverage part. Next is like ignoring files or flows. So this come into picture like there are few flows or files like where we don't want to write the minute, or we cannot write the minute, especially it happens with the error handling. So we can ignore that one, because as I said, like coverage is an important part. So few projects or few client follows a strict coverage percentage like 70% or 80%, and that is required, and if that is not fulfilled, then your build is not successful. So that's why like if we want to ignore any file or flow and we cannot write a minute for that one and our coverage is not meeting, then we can use this tags for ignoring those flows or files. So like I just give an intro of what we are going to do now. Like I will give you a small demonstration of what I have prepared, so all the points which I have discussed you over the PPT is going to clear with the demonstration. Okay. Anyone any question till now?
Yeah, Abhishek, I can see two questions in chat, so you can
Yeah.
keep this.
No, actually, I need to switch off my presenter mode. Then I need to see, I guess. Uh,
Okay, so first question
okay, okay.
is it's a testing framework. So first, yeah, okay.
You mean try block cannot be tested with a minute? No, I didn't mean try block. For each block, like error handling, I say like now suppose if we are using any uh, error in our flows, okay, then if we are using test recorder, then we cannot like write a MUnit for that one. But yeah, I will show you how manually we can do that one. That is possible. Yeah. So Anjali's asked like test, MUnit test recorder cannot cover errors. Yeah, it cannot cover errors. Like in between, if any errors come, it fails. The test recorder fails and it doesn't capture that one. So I will show you everything. Like once I demonstrate, I will show you like how to handle that one and how it is possible to write or ignore that one. So this is a basic flow which I have created. I have two APIs. One is my main API, which is having some resources. Okay, so it has got three resources. One is for get DB, one is for gets from CCPI, and one is for VM. So this is my flow. So this is for the get DB part where I have a get DB. Then I am calling my system API, which I have created over here, which will do a sort of transformation for us and give us an output. And then I have got this one with choice condition. Like suppose if in my flow I have got multiple condition, then how to write a MUnit for that one, and then how to write a MUnit if I have a VM connector. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that one. From in my system API, I have just two resources again. One is for get and one is for post. So like the get is just going to give you a message like this is an API call, whereas the post is going to have some transformation in it. And the get which I have, it has a strict query parameter format. Like it required a query parameter. If I don't give that query parameter, then it will fail. Okay, so I will demonstrate everything. So let me first just run and show you how it works, how my flow works.
Meanwhile, Abhishek, can you answer this? Like, if I am doing testing from Postman, and if I
Mhm.
am doing testing from this MUnit, so what all benefit we are getting from MUnit? Like, I can do testing from Postman also, but we have this automation thing. Like, we can configure MUnit and we can automate the
Correct.
process. So, what all benefit? Like, first benefit I can see, we can automate the process, testing process.
Correct. So first thing is automating that one, and second thing is I don't need to deploy my project again and again. Okay. So if I have written the MUnit and I execute the MUnit, automatically my project getting deployed and it do the structure. So I don't have to explicitly call my flow through Postman. So now suppose if I'm calling it from Postman, then I need to have a script over here. I need to like write everything over here, and I need to hit the sand and I need to test. But if I'm writing MUnit, so it is a replica what I'm doing from Postman. Okay, in that case, I can debug that as well, and I can know like which component is working how and how it is giving me the output.
Thanks, Abhishek. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a few resources. First one is DB. So if I hit this one, so this is going to give me an output like this. Second one is system API. So I have a query parameter, a strict query parameter mode. So if I give this one, then I get this output. But if I don't give this one, then it give me a fail status saying it's a bad request. Next, again for VM. So like as I have used publish and listener, so it is just going to give me a test. But internally, if I go and if I check, it is going to give me a success output. Similarly with the system API which I have created, again, as it's a replica. So if I'm giving the mode, it's giving me a success response. If I'm not giving it, it's going to give me a bad request. And for post, if I perform, like if I give my input in this way, then it's going to transform and it's going to give me the output as this. So this is what a basic I have created for this one. So now I need to write MUnit for the flows for my main flow, suppose. Okay, so these are my flows. These are my three different flows. I need to write the MUnit for all this. So now suppose first I take this one and I use the test recorder. So let me show you how it works. So I enable test recording. So it's automatically deploying the project. Okay. So now it's asking me to hit from Postman so that it can record it. So what I will do, I will just do it normally like the way I have done it before. So if you can see the status has changed and it's recording all the input and outputs with what I'm getting. So it has recorded everything, it has completed. Now I can check the configuration test. Okay. So now it will create a file with this name and the test case inside that will be this. Okay. Now what all things I need to mock or what all things I need to pass, it will ask me over here. Okay. So now if I go to the logger, you can see the options, like what all options I can do it. I cannot mock a logger, but I can have a verification on the logger. I can have a spy on this component. Again, select, this is the DB one. Okay, so what I can do is I can mock this one because as it is an outbound, so I don't want like when I am deploying it, when I'm doing a CI/CD, if there is any issue with the connection or anything, it should fail. That's why I will mock it one. Now what all things I need to pass if I'm mocking things, I need to pass both payload or variable, or I just need to pass payload. So now it depends on that. So at present I'm just passing the payload variable both. Next come the transformations. So this is also something like transform message is a component. So we cannot mock this one, but we can have a verification or spy. So what this spy does, the spy like verifies the transform message before and after. That means like before getting any message to the transform message, how it looks like. And after the message has been reached to transformation and the transform message has transformed the message, how it will look like. So I will just spy on this just to check like how it acts. Then it's a requester. Again, it's an outbound. So I'm connecting to an AND system. So I will mock this one. Same. Again, I have a transform message and complete. So if I want, I can either spy on this or I can verify or I can leave it as. So I will just move forward and I will create this. So my test case has been created. So this is what happens. Okay. So like this one is mocking my DB connector. This one is mocking my requester. This is spying on my transformation, which I have selected. Set event, as it will be the starting of my flow. Okay, set event starts the flow. So like I'm passing, first of all, I'm passing some payload to it. This flow reference is referred to my flow, which is this one. And this is asset expression, like whatever output I am getting from this flow, I need to match that particular output is uh, correct or not. So this is for that one. So like instead of assert expression, you can use assert that also. You can use assert equals also. Now that depends like how you want to do. Like the concept is same. They are going to validate the payload, but the logic is quite different. Like how you are passing that one. So I will show you that how to use assert equals as well, and then doing a verify call on the transformer again, the second transformer. So now if I debug this, so it will react the same way how it has been worked from Postman.
Hi, Abhishek. If you don't mind,
Yeah,
can you explain all the component again? Like, what is the
yeah,
advantage of each component here?
yeah. I will do. I will do. So now my flow has been started. So first it went to this. Now it went over here. It the transform message which I had, I spied on that one. That's why it came over here checking like before sending the message to the transform message how it's look like. Then it went to the transform message. Now I have used a mock component to mock this one. So if you'll see, when I have mocked, I have also passed a payload. So this is replicating like what actually I am receiving from the database when I was actually running the flow. Then the actual output which I am getting from the database, it's been recorded over here. And as I am mocking the component, but I want to revert something, I want to revert some valid payload to that one. So it has been captured in this file. I will show you the file how it's look like. Okay, so it spied on the transform message. It went to the requester. Again, the requester has been mocked. Now from the requester, this was something like I was getting as a payload. Okay, so it has captured that one and created a file. Then it asserts equal and verify. So if we'll see, then my this particular test case for my that flow is completed and it's a success as it's showing a green signal and the run is one by one and there is no error and failure. So it's a success. So now the files which has been created now, like how it acts. First for DB. So now it says like it has captured the payload on mock payload. So this is my mock payload. So this is the actual payload which I'm getting from the database. So it has captured that payload so that when I mock, I should return a valid payload so that the transform message which I have used after that should not get failed and verify like the transformation is working fine. So it has captured that one. Again for requester, it has captured the payload of the requester in payload one, which is this. So this is the output which I originally got from my requester. So it has captured that payload so that when I mock that one, I can return this payload to my flow. So the other components after the requester should work fine. Like the transform message which I am having after a requester should not fail because if it is not getting any valid input. Now this is a spy. Now assertion. So now I'm matching like before going to the transform message, what input I am getting. Okay. So now this is spy assert payload. So this is the payload before moving into the transform message. And if we'll compare, this is exactly the payload which I am getting from my database. Now you can match this one. This is exactly what I'm getting from my database. So this is spying on the component by saying that, okay, before going to the transform message, the payload is something like this. But when it went to the transform message, after it has validated, this is the output which I should get from that one. Okay, so it is particularly spying on that component. Then set event is just to start like give a boost to my flows. So like set event payload. So at present we are not passing any particular payload, so it should be empty. Okay, if it would be an post request, then there should be some payload as I'm inserting something and if I as I'm posting something to that one. Okay, so this is how the recorder works. So like it make it quite easier to write the test cases. Okay, now one more thing. So now this is my subflow and the parent flow for my application is this one. So it is just a normal, like just a flow reference in this. So if I want, I can modify my test cases instead of having a flow reference which is calling to my subflow or my child flow. I can route it to this one so that this also get added in the test cases and I get a coverage for this one. So now if I see, If I generate the coverage, I'm getting it only 19%, and which is only for one flow which is present in my implementation. So as long as I'm going to add my test cases, this coverage is going to increase. Okay, now suppose I said like if there is any error in between, so the test recorder cannot write that one. Now suppose like let's have a MUnit test case for this one where I have this requester. Now I will not run the second system API so that it will give me a connectivity error. And as I'm testing it, it will throw me an error in my recorder, and the recorder will say like I cannot create a test unit for that one. So let me show you that. Just 1 minute. What happened? Okay, sorry for that. So I will just run one of my test cases now, which I will do it for this. So my second system API I have disabled that one. So only this one will execute. When it will not get a connection for this one, my test record will not work.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
give some time actually means like audience are requesting to give like they are
Okay.
unable to see
I'm
what
going
option.
fast.
No. Actually, while selecting option only, just give some time so
Okay.
they
Okay.
so that they can see what option you are selecting.
Okay. For test recorder, can you use both test recorder and test cases in the same flow? Okay. Yeah, I will do that. Fine. Okay. So I am doing it for this one. Okay. So this is my system API call. I will just execute this. So now, as my requester is not present and it's got a HTTP connectivity error, so it throws the error and said like the test recorder cannot create this. So this is something happens like the test recorder cannot capture the errors. Okay, so now like you want me to like create manually the flow for this one, and as like the test recorder is already created, so you want me to have a manual for this one. Okay, so are you clear with how the test recorder works for this flow, or do you want me to like execute it again and show it again? Hello. Okay.
We got that request from Vinod, so
Again. Okay. Okay. Fine. Let me do it again then. No issues. Okay.
Yeah, I have one question, Abhishek. Like,
Yeah.
as you said, while creating that MUnit test recording,
Mm-hmm.
it not created for errors, right? In
Mm-hmm.
that case, we need to write manual MUnits for test cases for all the flow or some point of.
Yeah. See, some point like suppose where we are capturing the errors. Now, suppose I'm capturing the error here. So even though if I enable test recorder over here, it won't go this because the test recorder cannot create when we are having any error. But manually, I can create that one, and I will show you like how you can manually create test cases for any kind of error occurs.
My question is like it fails, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like some point of time, up to some connectors, can we create MUnit test recorder after that manual
No, no,
use?
no, 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 no. The test recorder will only create it if there is no error. If there will be any error, or like suppose it get an error at this point. So it has not at all created anything. So you need to create completely manually, complete thing manually.
for that entire
Yeah,
flow.
for that entire flow.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I will create it like MUnit for this one with using test recorder and making it manually both. Okay. Now let me set it again. Okay. So first I'm using the test recorder again. Okay. I'll call it. Okay. So it's been executed. Now I need to configure. So first it will show me what file name it is using to create the test case, and inside that what will be my suite name. So I'll do next. So this is my flow. Here it gives me options like for this flow I am not getting any payload. So it is showing over here like my payload is empty, then what attributes I'm getting, what variables I'm getting. So if I want to choose only payload, I can choose only payload. If I want to choose all three, I can choose all three. So it depends like what all inputs or what all values I want to choose. Next, coming to logger. Now logger cannot be mocked. So this is disabled. The operation which I can do on this is either do not perform any task on this, either have a verification on this, or have a spy on this. So these are the options I get on this one. So for this, I don't want to perform anything. So I will move forward. Now comes the select. This is for DB. Okay. So now I want to mock a DB connector because it's an outbound. So I don't want like as there will be any failure in between. So my test case should fail because of that, like any connectivity error or any kind of error. So I will mock this connector automatically as it is getting some payload from the actual DB call. It has recorded that one. So if I'll mock this, it will automatically create a file for that one and it will use that file in return of the mock. So I have mocked this one and it will return that. Now transform message. Again, this cannot be mocked, but I can either verify this or I can spy. So I will spy this one. Okay. Now request. This is the HTTP requester which I am using to call my another flow, another API. In this, again, I will mark this one because I don't want there should be any error and it should fail. Again, it has already recorded the output from that. And if I'm mocking this one, it will create a file for that one, and that file will be used in return to revert the payload. Then I have a transform message. Again, I don't want to have any kind of like action on that one, and then the logger. So I will do next, finish. So it will create that test case for me with all those specified or verified or provided inputs which it got while recording the test case for that particular flow. Is it fine? Okay. So now suppose I want to create a MUnit manually for that one, particularly for this flow. Or let me show you for this one. Like I will also show you this with help of recorder and manually. So let me first do it manually. Okay. So now in this test case, I have a choice condition. Okay. So this requester, what it will do, okay, it is calling my another flow, and it is a get request where strictly I have got a query parameter. Okay. So if I'm not going to give a query parameter, it should throw me an error as bad request. And if I'm going to give a query parameter, it is going to give me a success response, like whatever I'm getting from that. Okay. So for this application, I have used a validation, a success validation, so that if I'm getting any type of error, then it doesn't throw me an error. Instead of that, I will get a status code. And with respect to that status code, I will be having the choice condition, and I will be filtering like whether I am having a failure message or I am having a success message. So as I've shown you over here, like if I give the mode, then it give me a valid response. And if I don't, then it give me a bad request. Okay. So now I will be writing a MUnit for that one. So I will take this, I'll create a blank test for this one, and I will create a MUnit for this. So what all things I need to do over here? The only thing which I need to mark is the requester, and then I will need to have two different flows, like two different test cases, because I have a choice condition which is having two different paths. One is when the status code is not 200 or which is greater than or equal to 400. Another one when I get a success response. Okay, so this is what I need to do. So I need to create two test cases for that one. So first, creating for the negative scenario. So my flow reference is referring to that particular flow. I will take the mock. I will place it over here, and I will choose my requester. Now, one more thing I want to state. So whenever you are writing your flow, it's a best practice to give some name to that connectors. So now suppose if you'll see, I have not given any name to any of the connectors or any of the components. Everything is transform message. Okay, everything is flow reference. So it is not specified like what's the name for that one and which one I am selecting. Okay, so when you are mocking any component, you may get confused, like when you have got a very complex or big flow, you may get little confused, like which one you are mocking. Like I have two transform message now, which one I should mock or what should I do? So like it's a best practice, like if you give some name. So like if I'm calling the sys API for this requester, which is a get, so I can put like get hyphen sys API. So I will know like what that particular component or connector is doing and to whom I'm mocking. Okay, so in this case, I'm mocking the requester. Now I can mock it with reference to name or ID. So I will go with ID. I can also go with name, but now suppose if I'm mocking a connector, like there are two requester in my flow, and if I'm going with name, then the MUnit will confuse like which requester I need to mock, and it will mock both of them, and it will provide me the output which I normally want to provide for one requester, not both, but it will provide me the output for both the requester and same output. So I'm going with the ID now. So I have mocked the requester. Now as I'm doing for bad request, which status code is 400, so I'm assuming, like I'm expecting the output from my system API for bad request should be bad uh, error as bad request, which is this one. This should be my output from my system API when I'm doing it for 400. So I will return the payload as bad request over here. Okay, so I can do it like two ways. At present, my payload is quite small, so I can directly put it over here. Or as we have seen, we can create a file. We can create a separate file over here. Okay, and using the read URL function, we can call the class path over here, and we can import that payload in our mock, and we can pass it in our flow. Okay, so to do it manually without using the file, I can do it like way output. Now the format should be application JSON. So I'll do it this. Then I'll put down my message. and I will close this. Now it should be a JSON format. And here I will choose the format as application JSON. Again, now the status code, like if you can see over here, I'm having a condition over the status code. So I also need to pass the attribute of status code. So I will define that one as well in my mocking. I'll put the attribute over here. Okay, I haven't saved, so I lost. Okay, fine. So I will just put the attribute again. Output application JSON. This is my stated code. I want to pass 400. So I will pass 400. Again, I will make it as application JSON. So as I have not saved the earlier one, I have not saved the payload, so it has been lost. So I will put it again. I will take the message from here. Okay, so that is done. Now I need to also verify. Now, what am I going to get from this? So like if it is an error, so this is something like state should be failure, and my message, it should give me like message a payload dot message. So the payload which I'm going to get from this is bad request. So my output should be status as failure and message should be bad request. So I need to match the output which I'm getting from this, and I should verify over here. So I will use assert equal over here to match that one. So what option I'm getting? It is asking like what is the actual payload which I am getting from my flow and what is expected. So I can just simply write here payload. So this is something like which I am getting directly. Now what is the expected payload I am getting? I'm going to get it over here. So that will be this one, but this should be bad request. Okay. So now if I execute my flow, okay, it came over here. Now you can see this is the payload which I'm getting when I have marked this. So I have returned this one and status code 400. So it went over here because it's validating that one that the status code is greater than equal to 400. Now the payload which I'm receiving from this transformation is the actual one, is this one now. So it's validated. So now it's success. So that this is how manually I'm writing, like when I'm mocking. So I need to pass the actual payload which I will get from that call originally when I'm running that like I'm running that complete scenario actually. So this is how I have written this manually. Now what if I need to write, I need to use test recorder to that do that one. So test recorder is also going to do the similar thing. It is also going to validate accordingly. So I will show you the same flow how it can be done using a test recorder. Okay. So now for that, Okay. So I will run the test recorder over here.
Yeah, I have one question. Like
Yeah,
while creating this test recorder, you are selecting particular flow. So we can
correct.
select multiple flow at a time.
Uh, Multiple flows. See, like I get this option, like one, like if you want to create a recording for manually also, then also we need to create one by one. So recorder is also going to record it one by one, like because if I'm going to right click and I need to select, it give me option for that particular flow. It's not giving like any option like where I can use it for all.
Okay.
So like yeah, so I have not also tried or not ever seen like that option if it is giving, if we're getting
Okay.
some option.
Well, actually, I was thinking about this 100% coverage. So is
Yeah,
there?
so no, so like see, when we are using the test recorder, you can see like even though I have a parent flow, okay, if I'm doing it manually, I can include that parent flow in my flow, okay, and I will show you that also. But when we are using test recorder, it is completely doing it one by one for each flow. It is not taking, like I cannot use the main flow for my parent flow, and I will also show you like when if I'm creating a test recorder for my parent flow, even though the flow reference is covering the child flow, but it will only create the test cases for the parent flow and not for the child flow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So this is, I'm doing the same. This is my system API call. I'm hitting this. So it will fail because I will not give a query parameter. That's why it will give me a bad request, and I'm hitting this. Now it's recording that one. It has configured that. So it is creating the flow with this name. Now it gave me this option. Now in this, what I need to do, I just need to mock this one because I don't want any outboard connectors. I will do next and I will finish. So now it has created that one. Now if you'll see, this is something like pretty much similar to what I have created, but like in this one, if you'll see, here is the payload. For this, it has created a file over here. This is my API flow. This is mock payload, which is this one, which is having the similar thing, bad request, which is actually I'm going to get from my system API. Okay. Next, this is the attribute. So mock attribute. In this, you can see there is a status code field which is 400, which is exactly I have passed. So along with this, it has also like entered some details with like this header part. Okay, but it is picking up the status code from that. Set event, again, like I am not passing any particular thing, so it will be blank. So if you want, we can also remove this one. Assertion. So this is asserting whatever I'm getting from the main payload and the payload which I want, like the expected one. So this is assertion expression payload, which I can see over here. So this is what actually I'm getting. Okay, and I need to match with this. Okay, so now if I run this as well, so I'm going to get the same thing. So the main benefit of having that test record is that it saves a lot of time and you don't have to invest much of your manual work in that. You don't have to invest much of your brain over there, like to write the test cases and like creating files for mocking and returning the payload and all those stuffs. Okay, it came over here. Now you can see the payload as it is marked, but it is returning the payload this. And this is the status code which I am getting. It will go to this flow as it is validating. Now this is the actual payload, like this is the transform payload which I'm getting from this transformation, and it's validated that one. Are you clear with this point? Anyone, any question? Hello?
I think we don't have any question.
Okay. So now the test cases which I have created, like how I can modify that one. So now suppose let's take this one. So this has been created from test recorder, but also like I can modify it in whatever way I want. Now suppose this is my main project. Okay. And this is the sys API call which have a flow reference. Now is it's just a single flow reference. So I can include that in this flow. So like instead of referring it to this, what I can do, I can change this reference. I can change this reference and I can put it for this one so that this is also get covered inside that. Because if I'm going to write a minute for this using the test recorder, okay, so the output result which I'm going to get will be just with reference to this. Okay, although the complete flow will execute, although it will capture this one, like it will run this one also, but what it will do, it will create the image only for this. So now suppose, let me show you this. Now if I'm creating a test case for this, okay, okay. So now you can see like it has called everything with this flow reference, but if I'm going to configure and if I'm going to check, it is only capturing the particular flow. It is not capturing the child flow along with this. So like there is no point to have write MUnit using test recorder for this. Simply we can include this particular flow reference in our existing test cases, and we can like have like we can generate a coverage including this part also. So there is no point of creating any test cases for this type of things, or else we can also ignore these flows. Okay, so I will show you like how to ignore that as well. uh, Let me go to the third part, like using VM. Okay, so in your flow, if you are using any VM in your flow, then you need to write the test cases separately, because even though you write it manually, okay, as the flow reference, like in flow reference from one flow to another, like from parent to child, we can flow in our test cases as well. But if we are using VM connectors, okay, then in test cases the flow is not going to like traverse a flow from the parent flow to the child flow. Okay, so for that we need to write different separate test cases. In this case you can use like test recorder, because anyhow we need to write separate test cases for this one. So now suppose like for this also, let me show you creating it manually. So like in this case, I have nothing to mock actually, because the VM automatically gets stops. So I just have a set payload, okay, which is attribute.queryParameter.mod. So I can just use a verify call in this one just to verify whether that particular payload is getting called or not when I'm doing the test cases for that. So I'll just choose this set payload, and the verify should be at least one, like at least one it should execute. So now if I execute this one, That's it. So the VM connector itself doesn't goes to the to another VM like where it is listening that one. So in that case, we can have a separate MUnit for that one, a separate test case for that one. Okay. Now, as I was talking for the flow reference, like you can include that one. So in this case, I can just point it to get sys API. And it will start from the parent flow. See, it came over here. Then it went to the child flow, validated. So it's success. Now, if you'll see my coverage, so although my child flow is like validated, also my this parent flow with this one flow reference is also validated. So it includes to my coverage report. Okay, so it increase my coverage report. Okay, next one, let me show you like how to write, like if there is any error. Now suppose I have an error handling in this one, and if I get any error over here, then how to validate like whether that particular error handling is working, or if I want to increase the coverage. Because if I have an error handling in my flow, then I cannot ignore the complete flow for that one, and it will decrease my coverage as well if I am not validating this one. So how to write a MUnit for that one? So if I use test recorder, then it will fails and it is not going to go to this one. Again, like let me show you that as well, like how it will react with test recorder and how it will react manually. Okay. I'm sorry, I need to first disable this one, otherwise it will give me a success. Okay, now let me run this with test recorder and should give me an uh, error. Okay. There was an error when connecting interrupt. Okay. So now you see like an error occurred. Okay, the connection was refused. So it even like even though I have a error handling, it didn't went over there. Okay. Now in this case, how to write a MUnit for this one? So for this, what you can do manually, you need to write the test cases, create a blank test for this one. Okay. Now what errors I have in this? Okay. I'm handling any type of error over here. So my like whatever error I'm getting from this, it will automatically come over here and it will capture that one. So I need to have a coverage for this one. Okay. So for that, what I will do, okay, I will first mock the requester. Okay. And in that mock itself, I'm going to put an error so that the requester throws me an error. So this is my VM flow. This is my requester. I'm going to mock this. And down to that, there is an error tab where it we can define a type of error over here. So I will put it any. Now the same thing should we have to put it in our suit, because the suit is itself going to validate that one, like what type of error I am getting and is it valid error or not. Okay. Now one demerit with this is like I cannot put any validation over here because the validation for the error itself done by the suit. Okay. So this I need to have empty, because anyhow when it goes inside the flow and it comes out, it ends over here itself by throwing an error. It's not going to go in this one. Okay. So let me delete others so it will be more like I can show you more effectively. This is my implementation suite. Okay, let me delete this. Let me delete this. Okay, so I have only one test case now. Okay, so now if I execute this, okay, I'll go inside the flow. Now see, it has thrown me an error, okay, which is of type any, and I have written an error handling over here, so it should come over here. See, so when I have written the test recorder, although I was getting any type of error and I have defined the type as any, it was not coming over here. It was just interrupted and it stopped. But when I wrote it manually, when I have defined on the error in the error suite and when I'm mocking that one, it has automatically captured that one and it came to the error handling. So now in this way, I can also write a MUnit for my error cases, for my error handling, so that I can have a coverage. Okay, so now if you'll see, this is the success result. So that like the suit has itself validated the error which I have passed over there. Okay, similarly, I have this main flow. Okay, I have got number of error over here. Okay, so now if I don't write a MUnit for this, it is going to affect my coverage. So two options I have: either I can ignore this particular flow by using this ignore tag in my palm, or I can write a MUnit for this one. So let me try doing both. Like I will show you, like in the similar fashion, we can write a MUnit for this, or we can ignore the flow and that will affect my coverage. Okay, so now I want to write a minute for this where like I need to check whether my error handling for bad request is working or not. And this is like if I'm passing the correct error type in my mock condition and my suit, then only it's going to like validate and give me a green check by saying okay, it is a success. If I'm not giving that, if I'm giving, like if I've defined bad request in my suit, but when I'm mocking my component and generating an error and there I have defined not found, then my MUnit will fail. So I will show you that one. Okay, so in this, what I will mock my API kit router. Okay, so first of all, I will show you what happens when in my suit I define the error type as bad request, but I give as not found. So this is something which I will define in my suit. I'll define it as like it should capture the error as bad request. But when I'm mocking my API kit, I'm mocking with error not found. This is my API kit. I will mock this. This is my error and I'm giving it not found. Okay. Now what happens if I execute this? Let me close some interrupted one. Yeah. Is my speed fine? I'm going too fast or too slow? Ravi?
From my side, yeah, it's okay.
Anyone else?
No, I think fine from India. Yeah.
Okay. So now it has been started. Now it's went here. It raised an error. It came to not found because I raised of not found. But if you'll see, it failed. The reason is I have defined the suit with error type bad request, but I have given it as not found. So this is why it's give me an error. Okay. Now let me fix it. Let me give the same error which I have defined in my suit. Which is bad request. Now if I execute this one, it find here, it came to bad request this time, it validated, and now you can see it's a success. Okay, so the error has been validated, like the error which I have raised from my mock component by mocking the API kit and which I have given in my suit, they are same and it is going to the correct error handling. Okay, now one more thing, like if you'll see the coverage. Okay, so now whenever I'm running coverage for from a particular file, from a particular like test suite, it is going me it is going to give me the coverage report for that particular flow. Like if I have got 10 suits over here, like 10 test cases over here, it is going to give me the coverage for this particular one. So now like suppose I'm running this one. Okay, so it gave me 6.45, which is with respect to only my this project, Mule project for which I am running it. Okay, but I want to see the overall coverage for both of my flows. Okay, so how to do that? So there is two way of doing that. One is from Studio. If you want to do, just right click on this, go to MUnit and run test. So it will execute both the files together. So we will get a coverage which will show me the coverage report of both the file.
Yeah, I have one question here. Actually,
Yeah,
this MUnit suite is inside SRC test MUnit. So
correct.
when we will deploy our code to higher environment, will this file will go there or not?
Yeah, so like when you deploy it, it's get deploy complete package, correct? So
Okay,
when you deploy something, it is not like it's only deploy using source main. It deploy everything which is inside that. So it will be used, like it will also go there. And the work of MUnit is still CI/CD. Like when you are doing CI/CD, that time we are like executing our MUnit and we are testing whether our flow is correct or not. Once that is passed, so it doesn't matter like what like the code what you have deployed, because when you are deployed it on prem or on cloud, there it's not going to run the MUnit.
okay, fine.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Now you can see as I have executed both the files, now my coverage was 6.45, but now it is 16.13. So this is capturing both the MUnits which I have written in both the files. Okay, so this is one way. Another way, and the best way which I will suggest, is using the command prompt, because that is a replica of how your CI/CD is going to work. Okay, so now I will go to CMD, but to execute your test cases on CMD, first you need to configure the Maven home. Okay, so I will show you like how to do that as well. And for that you need to have a separate Maven plugin. Okay, so in Mule 4, like those who have worked in Mule 3, they know like they need to have a separate Maven plugin. But if you are working on Mule 4, that Mule 4 is already embedded with Maven. So sometimes like we don't need to have a extra Maven plugin. But if you need to like enable Maven home, you need to have that plugin. So I will execute the same test cases in my CMD. So I will do mvn clean test. So this is one of the command which we can use. Okay, so my build is success means my test cases have been executed. There are two tests here, and see, you can see the exact the coverage which we have seen over here. You can see the same over here. Resources, how many flows are there total, and the coverage is this one. Now let me tell you like why I'm saying like it is preferred to execute it from command prompt, because one is it is giving me the replica. Second is, now suppose in this main flow I don't want, like I have a console flow and I don't want this console flow to be executed. I want to skip this one. I want to ignore this one. So for that, to ignore anything, I need to go to my POM. There you can see a configuration. This is my configuration. Okay, where I need to like implement my ignore tag so that I can ignore that particular flow. Okay, so now how to do that? So for this, I have a tag. This is my ignore flow tag. Similarly, I can ignore a complete file as well, but at present I just ignore a flow. So I will use this tag where I need to give the name of my flow. Okay, so I will just use this. Okay, so my flow name is Mule project console. Please like check this part very clearly. Okay, there you will see a difference between like the difference on the coverage report you are getting it from your studio and the coverage report which you are getting from your command prompt. Okay, so I have ignored this particular flow from my MUnit test case. Okay, so now if I execute this from my studio, run test cases. Okay, so the test case again, like still I have ignored a flow, it is 16.13. Now what if I do the same from my command prompt? Okay. Now if we'll see, just see the difference between the coverage. Earlier, it was also showing 16.13 when I have not implemented the skip. But when I have implemented the skip, in Studio, it is showing me 16.13, but in command prompt, it is showing me 17.24, which is the actual one, which is the exact one. So it is implementing the skip which I have used in my flow. Okay, that's why it is recommended like install the Maven home in your like configure the Maven home, and if you are using any test like running test cases, do it from command prompt, as this is how exactly your CI/CD is going to perform. Okay, now second thing. Now, as I mentioned, like some of the projects or clients, they may strict to the coverage, like we should have 70% of coverage, otherwise it shouldn't build or it should fail. Okay. Now, how to do that? Like you can put that tag inside your form so that you will strict that MUnit coverage to be 70% or 80%. Until and unless it's not uh, coming to the limit, it will not execute. The build will fail. Now, how to do that? For that, you just need to put this to tag like build failed is true and required application coverage, like the overall coverage, what it should be. So I'll just use this and I will paste it over here. Okay. Okay. So I have restricted the coverage to be 70%. If it is not 70%, then my build should not be success. Now, how to test this one? Again, I will go to command prompt and I will run my test. So now till when I have not used its build success, but what happens if I put the limit in my form stating that my coverage should be 70%, otherwise the build should fail.
We have one
Yeah,
question in chat, so you can take that question.
yeah, just 1 minute. See, now as my required limit was 70, but I'm getting 17.25 to 4, my build is failed, stating that coverage limit were not reached. Okay. So this is what like some of the function which we have, like we can restrict it, we can skip the flow or file for the MUnit. Yeah, what question? We need to build MUnit coverage handler for every test case. Is it mandatory? No, it's not mandatory. Like the overall should be like 70% or 80%. It is not mandatory. Like we need to have MUnit coverage 100% for every test case or every flow. Okay, so now suppose like I am writing a minute for this one. So I have written for the success case. So it has given me a percentage of 70%. Suppose now I have, and it is giving like me 70% because I have not include this one, or I have not written again a test case for this one. So it's fine. So like it's not possible to write a minute or a test case for a flow getting 100% success. So it's fine until unless you have a overall coverage of 70 and 80% and you are meeting that coverage. That's it.
Yeah, and I think overall coverage will be given by your business, like how much
Correct.
you want.
Correct. So that's why I mentioned like it depends on the client or project, like how much they want. Like some client use 70%, some client use 80%, some use 75%. So it depends. Even some doesn't have like bother whether you have written any unit or not, or you have any coverage limit or not. Okay.
And
So
I have one question on top of this, like how frequently clients are using this unit. Actually, I have worked in two projects, but none of
mm,
them are using this unit.
no,
So
see, like again, it depends. Like ideally, every like most of them are like very much considered about that. Like if you are writing a flow, you need to write a minute for that one. But if your client is not very much partial with that one or very much constrained with that one, then it's fine. Like, but it is advised, like if you are creating any flow, if you're writing any flow, any project, you should write a minute for that one.
okay, yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, so this was something which I had. Just one more thing, like how to set Maven home. Just 1 minute. Okay, so to check whether you already have Maven home or not, this is the command mvn-version. So it will give you all the details, like what is your, like which plugin you are using, then what Java you are using, and it will verify whether you have Maven home or not. Okay, if it replies like cannot find, that means you need to set that one. Then how you need to do that? You need to go to your computer properties, go to advanced, go to environment variables. In your user variable for that, like whatever system you have, in that you need to have a Java home, which should point to a JDK, which one you are using. Your M2 home. So like this is my Maven plugin, okay, which I have at present in my system. So I am routing it to this one and Maven home. So these three things are important if you want to like use the Maven command to test or build your flows inside your command prompt. So you need, this is the way to set the Maven home in your system. Okay, so I'm pretty much like done with my presentation and demo, Ravi. Do you have anything to like any further thing or any further process you want to?
Actually, I have shared you this Kahoot details. So first
Hmm.
you can log in and then you can start sharing your screen. Then after
Yeah.
that we will have QA session and then we will have network session.
Okay. Okay, just let me try. Yeah, Ravi. Like I will give that. Just 1 minute. Let me have no like Ravi Tamda has posted a
Yeah,
message in
development
chat.
to achieve requirement. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, I am stopping this recording so
Yeah, sure.
we can avoid this Kahoot and all from this recording.